On February 9th, 1945, the B-17 that I was the tail gunner received a direct hit from another B-17, mid-air collision, February 9th, 1945. And when this happened, it happened at 25,000 feet high. We were on the oxygen supply of the aircraft and the heating system of the aircraft. So when I was thrown out into space, I was unconscious, and I didn't regain consciousness probably until I descended to about 10,000 feet high. And the reason for that is at 25,000 feet where the incident happened, there's a lack of oxygen. You can die at 25,000 feet. So I must have done, it wasn't something that I had control of. Maybe through involuntary action, I made a delayed jump. And at 10,000 feet high, I started regaining consciousness. And then I started worrying about what the reception would be like on the ground, because I knew we were over German territory. And sure enough, as I hit the ground, I noticed that there was many people that were descending upon me, and I started, and I was very scared, and I started running away from them, and they started shooting at me, and I decided that wasn't the best thing to be doing, that maybe I would, so I slid down to the earth and peeked over the top of a dike, and I decided that the only thing for me to do is probably put my hands in the air and walk towards them in hopes that they'd quit shooting at me. They did. They quit shooting. They surrounded me. This was a rural community, and they asked me through gestures. I couldn't understand any German. They couldn't understand any English, but I could understand the gesture for me to take off all my clothing, the fleece-lined suit and the electric flying suit, down to my long underwear, and then I was allowed to put on the bare necessities. And but there is one word, in addition to many of the words that they were hollering at me, I could understand Chicago gangster. That's the only English word I could understand. Chicago gangster. Hitler had put out in his propaganda a few months before that all airmen were recruited from Chicago, and they were all former gangsters. Probably he did this because we didn't always put our bombs into the pickle barrel. I'm sure that some of them did hit homes in the area of our target.
So these people that captured you were local people, farmers?
They were farmers. There was about 40 of them. There was 3 guns amongst the group. They had shovels, rakes, and different farm implements that they could strike me with if need be.
Was there any other sign of any other airmen that had parachuted, or any sign that the aircraft crashed? Or were you just kind of in the countryside by yourself, and there was no sign of anybody else from your plane?
No, there was. I never. The minute that this mid-air collision happened, I never saw our aircraft again. The only thing that I saw, the first thing I saw after the collision was my parachute open. I don't remember seeing the tail. I don't remember seeing the main portion of the aircraft. I was taken by this group of people to a nearby village and thrust into a garage. and I was the only one in there, and I was kept in the garage for 3 or 4 hours. And of course, during that time, I was thinking that probably there was going to be a hanging, because as we know, many airmen were hanged if they were captured by civilians. After about 3 or 4 hours, the door did open. A policeman was standing in the doorway, making gestures for me to follow him down this little dirt road from that village to another village. He would ride his bicycle. He rode his bicycle and me marching ahead. I don't remember whether we were overtaken or it did what happened, how it did happen, but we were overtaken by an oxen pulling a wagon. The wagon had a little bit of hay on it for animal feed. The policeman ended up riding the wagon, and I ended up pushing the bicycle. So I pushed the bicycle, and we went on into what we know now as Eisenberg. I didn't know it. I didn't know that this was the name of the town at that time, but it was Eisenberg, Germany, which is about 50 miles from the town of Leipzig. I was taken to the police station in Eisenberg, and I was thrust into an upstairs cell, no lights, nothing, and anyhow, I was shoved into this cell, and sometime during the evening, I could hear wooden shoes come up along the aisle and outside my door, and people were prying on my door trying to open it up. And I was very scared, thinking that probably these people wanted to get me out to hang me or whatever. That my thoughts changed when these people, with their wooden shoes, and I could hear them clattering down the hall, a German guard came up and they were running away. This led me to believe that these people must have been trying to help me instead of hurt me. Before the evening ended, they tried one more time to get my door open. They failed at that attempt. But shortly thereafter, I heard a little something in a window just opposite of the door. There was a little window with bars on it. I heard something out there. I went over to the window and looked up, and a loaf of bread was being lowered on a rope. I tried my darndest to reach that loaf of bread. I couldn't do so. Finally, these folks gave up. It must have been the same people that were trying to get to pry my door open.